Alright, what up people? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is to talk about Arsenal transfers. That's right, you're through to Eagle Eye, the transfer rumour show, where I'm going to talk about stories concerning the Arsenal. I'm going to concentrate on 3 stories today. I don't want to over-convolute you. And I think sometimes it's better to focus on certain stories over others rather than do everything just for the sake of saying that I did everything. So I think going forward, that is going to be my approach for the show. So let's talk to you about this first story. You may remember that I mentioned that Arsenal were interested, and I was so happy to hear it, signing in Mario Hermoso. A further development has been made on this. He obviously only has a year left on his contract. I say obviously like you guys know this. No, you don't, or you won't know this, so I take the obviously back. But he has a year left on his contract, and Espanyol have been trying to negotiate with him, and he's rejected a chance at a new contract. So it looks like he may be set to go unless Espanyol are ready to let him go on a free transfer. For those of you who don't know, he is a centre-back, can also play left-back, but predominantly centre-back, 24 years old, and he's got 1 year left on his contract. And people are going to be hunting for him. I don't expect us to be favourites for his signature. But to me, this is where, if it was me, I'd abandon ship for the likes of Anderson, for example, and I'd concentrate on 2 signings, Saliba and Hermoso, and I would be happy with our defence. Then sell whoever the fuck you need to make that deal work. Yeah, I think he's very, very good, very, very talented, but we are up against stiff competition. Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich are favourites. PSG have shown some interest in the past. For some reason, I can't see him going there. I've got a feeling if he'll go anywhere, it'll be Atletico Madrid. But that doesn't mean that we can't ask a question. We can't say where we stand. To me, this is the type of signing that I'd like to see us make. I think he's an excellent defender, can only get better. And I think a lot of people who are worried about us just signing the likes of someone like, say, Saliba, I think would be very happy with Hermoso. I think he ticks all the boxes, honestly. He's one of the best defenders in La Liga. And you know me, I don't like La Liga central defenders. So if I'm recommending him, you know this guy's good. I'd personally like him a lot better than the Getafe De Gene guy. I'd much rather Hermoso. So yeah, just to let you know also, just to further complicate things, Real Madrid do have a 7.5 euro buyback clause. They're not necessarily interested in him. Don't be surprised if they utilize that buyback clause to then resell. Let's be real here. They need money, as incredible as that sounds. But they're putting now some serious dough. At some point, they're going to have to start selling people. It's always a bit of a risk doing something like this, though, because, first of all, you got to... Who says the player will be complicit to something like that? Unless, I suppose, you tell them that you're going to pay them X amount of money in order to get that done. And B, that's a big risk. Imagine if you don't sell them. Then what? You're stuck with this player that you don't even want. So it is a big chance, but the clause is just sitting there. You got potentially a £30 million player, and you can get them for 7.5 million euros. You're probably going to be tempted. It's a big risk, a big gamble. I personally wouldn't make that gamble unless I knew I had a buyer that weren't going anywhere. With Arsenal, you never freaking know. But yeah, to me, I'd love us to make a move like this. That would be my ideal situation if we couldn't, because for whatever, we're not going to go and get Dunk, because Dunk just is not an Arsenal type of player. I would love Dunk. Don't get me wrong, people. I've been banging the dunk drum for a little while now, but I don't see us getting him. So I think, for me, Hermoso represents at least a Spanish defender, but someone who is very, very good. Someone who may be comfortable working with Emery and his coaches. And yeah, someone who is relatively young despite his experience, so could only get better. And then when you look at the ages of some of our defenders, you've got Rob Holding in the cut. All right, you've got Socrates there, but Socrates has said himself he's probably going to be bouncing at the end of his contract. We'll know by at least next season if Mavropanos is that guy or not, because I imagine he would go on loan. So yeah, I think we've got enough there to at least build for the future, and that is what all this is about. Plus, we do like to play with three at the back, so having defenders I don't think is a particularly bad thing. So yeah, Hermoso is the first defender I'll talk about. Let me talk about quickly the second and third. Kieran Tierney. Thankfully, I'm starting to be impressed with who Arsenal are starting to target. Kieran Tierney looks like he's Emery's number one choice to bring in as a left back, number one left back choice. Obviously, he's 22 years old, plays for Celtic, and if it weren't for how amazing Andrew Robertson is, he would be 100% Scotland's number one. I would suggest, unless anyone's going to correct me, he's the best left back in Scotland. That plays in Scottish football, mind you, people. Please don't misunderstand me. And yeah, I think for me, this is one guy that I think every Arsenal fan, and we don't unite over much, but I think every Arsenal fan would be excited to see him come in. He's one left back I can see with the way he operates. He has a very good balance between attack and defence. I was a little worried because I actually thought he had a long-term injury. I thought he had a thigh injury. And that's why a lot of the reason people will point to the fact that he wasn't in my left-back list, but I actually did mention him in the video. And I did say the only reason he isn't in this list is because I thought he had a long-term injury. But no, if he doesn't have a long-term injury, he's my first choice. I think he has an excellent balance between defence and attack. Provides good crosses. He ticks every box that Monreal and Kolasinac don't. And to me, it's a no-brainer. He could be pricey. I ain't gonna lie, he could be pricey, but he ain't gonna be Chilwell pricey. I think he'll probably end up costing around the £25 million mark. And again, this is not necessarily money we have, but I think if we can raise it and be a bit clever in places, yeah, I would like him on board. Thank you. Yes, please. The third player I'm going to talk about is Lucas Torreira. I ain't going to lie, I'm a bit worried the story is not going away as quickly as you guys know I expected. When this story originally came up, I pretty much rubbished it. And it just seems as though it just is not going away anytime soon. The agent said that it would be very special if Lucas Torreira was able to move back to Italy. He obviously has an Italian wife. I done said this on my video on Sunday that wifeys run the relationship, and when they're unhappy, it tends to drive. It tends to have an effect on you. So it might be an opportunity for Lucas Torreira to just say, you know what, if AC Milan want me, I'd be interested in returning. I must admit, I'm a bit unlike you guys. I'm not as heartbroken by this. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think he's an excellent player. I think he'll get better. But I also think that ultimately, if he's unhappy, from our point of view, I just want the correct dough for him. 35 million ain't that. 50 million, to be honest, ain't that. And I've got a feeling we might accept 50 million, which is a bit worrying. I'd want significantly north of that. I think if it started to get into dumb money, like 65 plus, I'd take it. But I think that represents, for once, a position of strength for Arsenal, that, you know, we don't have to sell him just because he's unhappy. We'll sit there unhappy then. You know, if he wants to go back that badly, that is not something we want. So you need to pay us money to convince us why you should have him. Supposedly, he represents the new incoming coach. He represents the ideal signing for AC Milan. Let's see how ideal it is. Show us how much money you want to spend. So Lucas Torreira, for me, I'd be disappointed if he wanted to go back, but I wouldn't be heartbroken. And if he wants to go back, let's just get the appropriate money and make that money work for us, most importantly. And it may be an opportunity for someone like Christian Bielik. Let's be real here. It's shown a lot of promise. So yeah, I'd be interested in that signing for sure. Next up, sorry, I did say last player, but I'm going to talk about one more. Alexis Claude Maurice. This is another one that we've spoken about a lot most recently. It looks like he's going to snub us for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Damn, Skippy, I pronounced that properly. I don't pronounce a lot properly, so I'm glad I pronounced that properly. Yeah, it looks like he's set. The reason for it is because he believes that the team focus on younger players, and ultimately it boils down to the fact that he feels it'd be a lot easier to break into that team. You know, if you come to Arsenal, if you want to play a striker, good luck. If you want to play on the left-hand side, you're probably going to be behind somebody. Arguably, people be sat here saying, no, well, he won't be behind Iwobi, would he? Motherfucker, Iwobi's put up numbers in the Premier League. Relax. All right? This is an untried, untested La Liga 2 youngster. Relax. But, yeah, for me, I'm... you know, it's a little worrying that we've had two youngsters in the space of a week that have looked at an Arsenal offer and said, nah. So that is a bit worrying. Who knows if that will happen with Martinelli as well? Who knows? Or is it all a smokescreen? These are stories you've got to take with a pinch of salt, even this one. I told you nothing is going to happen until the 1st. Nothing will happen or be confirmed until the 1st. We're edging towards the 1st. We've got what? A little over 10 days? We ain't quite there yet. We're edging there. We're edging there. It's going to take a while for all these type of deals to be confirmed. But yes, Alexis is the latest person. Not that one. The other one. Alexis is the latest person to turn down Arsenal in favour of another team. Anyway, guys, you let me know what you think of all these stories. Leave it in the comment below. If you like this video, thought I was going to snooze. No. Crash, destroy, drop kick the shit out of this like button. I appreciate it when you guys do that. Thank you very much for my support. I see the numbers shooting up. We are soon going to get to 4,700. Please do hit that subscribe button. You know, I see people hitting 10K, 7K. I want to hit 5. I'm more modest. Just let me hit that 5. I want to hit that 5 before the season starts. I'm on task to do that. I've got little analytics that tell me I'm going to do that, but I'm still a little worried I ain't going to do that. So I don't never take you guys for granted. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button for me. All right, I'm out of here, people. Take care. Peace. I know I said I was only going to do a few stories, but I love transfer rumours. This is why I had to do this show. It was something I started last summer, and I've just continued it because the way I see it is I'm only going to do this anyway. In my private time, look for all sorts of transfer rumours, any kind of inkling of hope I can as an Arsenal fan. So I might as well share this with you. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to talk about 3 more stories. Dominik Szoboszlai. He is an 18-year-old Hungarian midfielder. Don't know. I ain't even going to sit here and try and blag it. Don't know a lot about him. I know that he's a central midfielder, can play attacking midfield. has 3 goals to his name in the Bundesliga, 4 assists, made 16 appearances, so clearly not a starter, but that doesn't particularly surprise me. I'd have been surprised if he was one. And yeah, can even play left midfield actually, but it's unlikely that he'll ever play there. From what I understand, he's a good passer of the ball, good vision, very much an Aaron Ramsey type. To me, this link doesn't make a lot of sense, I've got to admit, because you can kind of copy and paste this to Emil Smith Rowe. Same age, same kind of positions, albeit maybe Emil Smith Rowe is more of a, can play more on the right side instead of the left side, but he seems like that sort of player. It wouldn't make sense to get another type in when I feel like Emil Smith Rowe is ready and primed to take over Aaron Ramsey's spot. I don't think there's a lot to this. We are being linked with a bid, ranging anywhere between 9 million and 15 million euro, 15 million euro bid. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this, but that's the story currently in the Scumbag newspaper. If you know, you know. The story that I found more interesting, and I don't hate the move, I've got to admit, is the Lucas Vázquez story. Arsenal are being linked with a potential bid for Lucas Vázquez, which you might be sat there thinking, okay, he's a right-sided midfielder. Well, actually, Emre plans to be a little bit clever with Lucas Vázquez. Obviously, yesterday I reported the fact that Hector Bellerin has picked up, well, I say has picked up, is recovering slower than first thought regarding his injury. And I remember the one thing I said is actually I'd like us to look at a right back and someone that can actually play the position. I still suggest Max Aarons. Apparently Man United have started to turn their attention to Max Aarons because they realise actually the Wan-Bissaka deal may be an expensive one to get over the line. Gosh, if a player's too expensive to Man United, what world are we living in? So yeah, they're looking at Max Aarons now for potentially a £15 million bid. And I'd love us to get him because I think he'd just slide in perfectly in the Arsenal team. But actually, Emre's looking to get Vazquez in because he feels that he could play in a wing-back position when we play 3 at the back, which I actually quite like. A lot of Vazquez qualities would call towards that sort of move. He's just going to turn 28 years old in a couple of weeks, actually, on the 1st of July. I know us as Arsenal fans are eagerly awaiting the 1st of July. So he's set to turn 28 years old. So we're talking about someone who's a bit older, vastly experienced though. Kind of all the qualities we were looking for in Lichtsteiner, except he's 6 years younger than when Lichtsteiner first signed for us. So he's 28 years old, he's got the experience. He's a good set piece taker, likes a layoff, good passer of the ball. He doesn't really have that many weaknesses, to be fair. He's not the greatest finisher, I guess. And I wouldn't say he's immensely strong. So I guess if he is backed up into a corner, don't rely on him to bully anyone out of position. But one thing I will say is he's got very good footballing sense, in the sense that I think he could play that position without even potentially using strength. So he's just got good positional sense and awareness, and more often than not makes the right decision. I'm surprised he doesn't play more for Real Madrid. And I know you're probably sat there thinking, oh yeah, so we're going to get a Real Madrid player. Remember, Real Madrid has spent a lot of money, still plan to spend a lot of money. At some point, they're going to have to upload some motherfuckers. And I think this one is kind of low profile enough that it may be possible while adding to the team. Not only that, when Hector does come back, you have someone now that can play on the right side that probably can give you the things that Mkhitaryan was supposed to give us, but didn't. The one thing I will say for Lucas Vázquez, I don't think he's necessarily as skillful as Mkhitaryan, but he will track back a hell of a lot more. He's played right back once this season and actually did quite well. So, like in a 4. So, I'm not against this idea. I quite like this idea. And I would, if it's possible, I'd love us to go for it. Speaking of right backs, it looks like Big Jenko is finally about to leave the club. It looks like West Brom are in for him, and Arsenal, amazingly, Arsenal want £10 million for Carl Jenkinson. I thought £10 million for Koscielny was ridiculous, but for Janko, let's calm down. Quite honestly, if they can give us £5 million, I'll take it. To be honest, I'd take less, but let's be a little bit ambitious because we actually do need dough. So $5 million, I'd take it. Let's not mess around here. But yeah, it looks like soon West Brom will be with Gibbs and Janko, our former fullbacks. How weird is that? But yeah, it looks like West Brom want Janko. Anyway, now I promise I'm out. You guys let me know what you think of this video. Please do crush that like button. And I'm out of here. Take care. Deuces.